Hello everyone. I've got a new book, an original one, but it's supposed to be a used book, so I cannot claim this book to be a new one. Uh, it says the Linguistics Students Handbook. I'm not really sure whether or not this book will suit every student or every form of linguistic students at any level, from bachelor's to doctoral levels. I'm not really sure, but I'd like to comment on some points here. I haven't finished all of the parts, but how this book defines the subfields or the subparts of linguistics, name phonetics and phonology. Phonetics and phonology. So let's read. Let's read. Why? You gonna read this? Okay. How this book defines phonetics and phonology. So, according to this book, phonetics phonetics deals with the sounds of spoken language, how they are made, how they're classified, how they are combined with each other, and how they interact with each other when they are combined, how they are perceived. It is sometimes suggested that phonetics is really a part of linguistic proper, but a sub part of physics, physiology, psychology, of engineering, as in attempts to mimic human speech using computers. According to the label linguistic phonetics is sometimes used to specify that part of phonetics which is directly relevant for the study of human language, while phonology here is defined to be something that deals with speech sounds, but a rather more abstract level. While phonetics deals with individual speech sounds, phonology, phonology deals with the system which incorporate the sound. It is also considers the structures the sounds can enter into. For example, syllables and intonational phrases, and the generalization that can be made about sound structures in individual languages or across languages. So actually, how this book defines the term phonetics is not really accurate, or it's way too broad, because it says that phonetics deals with the sounds of spoken language, how they are made, how they are classified, how they are combined with each other, and how they interact. Do you know, when you talk about how, most likely it deals with the systems, right? So when you have food, okay, foods, okay, or cookings are served on the table, okay, on the table, on the dinner table, on the dining table. You are not supposed to ask how you make the foods or you make the cookings, because the how deals with the system, deals with the know-how, deals with the kayfiyat means the methods. It could be innate, it could be listed, it could be written down, right? So when you say how sounds are made in a particular pattern, for example, you are most likely to say something that deals with the so-called system, right? The so-called system. What are you doing? Look at my cat. Okay. Uh, but when you talk about phonetics, you are more likely to talk about the what form, right? The what form. What are the physical sounds, right? What are the physical sounds? So, recalling our memory about this, the speech circuit, proposed, purported, coined by our father of modern linguistic, Ferdinand de Saussure. Okay, Ferdinand de Saussure. That so we everybody, okay, we as human beings created by God the Almighty, um process a sound in a variety of ways, right? In a variety of ways. What comes first? It comes into your brain first, right? So what we call this as the psychological phonetics, or this is the so-called, it used to be called phonemics, right? Phonemics is an older term of phonetics. The, let's say, oldest one might be the psychological phonetics. Okay, psychological phonetics. So when you talk about phonetics, hardly will we ever say that this is systemic, but it's more evident, it's more empiric. So we cannot say something before it's really produced, right? While phonemics or phonetics, phonemics or phonology, we talk about what uh, is prescribed supposedly in the human being. So for example, when you talk about the phoneme th in a particular language, right? Let's say in the words such as thank, thing, these, fricative, interdental, voice, and invoice, right? That is how they are supposed to be programmed, supposed to be said, supposed to be pronounced, supposed to be articulated, supposed to be phoneted, right? But you are most likely talking about something that is in your brain, in your mind, in your reasoning machine, right? But when you produce the sounds, you might hear some Indonesian people pronounce it teng, ting, them, right? It's plosive, the, it's supposed to be fricative, the, right? But you are talking about what is ideally pronounced in phonology, but in the reality, you hear some sounds that were not rendered in the way in the way they are supposed to be rendered, right? Supposed to be sung, if sung, right? So when you talk about the prescriptive form, the abstract form, the mental form, the brain form, the ideal form, you are likely to talk about the phonology part. But when you talk about the physical sounds that you can hear, that you can transcribe, that you can do anything about that, you are most likely talking about the so-called phonetics. So phonetics is more likely to be what you call it one, the physical, okay, the physical part of sounds itself, but the system is more likely to be on phonology. So they are completely impossible, they are completely impossible to be separated. Why they cannot be separated? Can never be separated, because you cannot produce sounds, see sound, hear sounds, sense sounds before it is perceived first. right? So what you can perceive happens, takes place in phonology. What you can hear, what you can analyze takes place in phonetics, right? So when you want to analyze the sounds, the machine, right? With the machine, let's say you want to use spectrogram, you want to use Pratt, you want to use other devices that deal with sound analysis alike, you are most likely talking about phonetics. So the difference between phonology and phonetics has to be made clear first, and it can be made clear, or it can never be made clear, because these terms are used interchangeably. They use to, let's say, uh they used to be ignorant of the terms, actually. So they used to call everything phonetics. When it deals with mental, you just, let's say, pin the word phonetics with psychology, because psychology is more likely to be mental, right? To be mental. So you pin it with psychology and it becomes the phonemics, right? When you can observe something, okay, with the eyes, in the eyes, okay, when you can smell it in the nose, when you can hear it in the ears, for example, right, you are more likely to be something, you are more likely to deal with something that deals with observation, seeing, watching, beholding, things like that, right? It's more likely to be anthropology related. So that's why phonetics, okay, used to be named in a compound word called anthropological phonetics. So it used to be called psychological phonetics for phonemics or phonology. And for the phonetics itself, used to be called anthropological phonetics. So see, you can also, I think, you will never, ever, ever, and ever be able to analyze phonology, to pattern a system, to purport a system before you deal with a variety of language, variety of sounds you hear, you see, you analyze through any mean that is possible, right? So it's, you see, this book is kind of ambiguous too, right? Okay, thank you.